The lost and found nation of Islam, Muhammad's Temple United, is seeking to unite with all of the believers in temples across the country. If you are a member or a part of a temple, or if you have a temple, contact us and let us unite one nation under one way of life. Islam is taught by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Don't see your city or state? Let's change that. Let's unite and put your temple on the map of unity. Let us not come together in unity in belief only, but let us come together and unify as one in practice. The time is now, black man and woman. Your nation awaits you. Assalamu alaikum.
In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, all praises is due to Allah, who appeared among us, the black man and woman of America, in the divine person of Master W.D. Farad Muhammad, and of course in the name of his divine servant, the man that was raised among us, the black man and woman of America, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. I greet our viewers, our listeners, in the greeting words of peace and paradise in the Arabic language of Assalamu alaikum. Brothers and sisters, once again, welcome to Muhammad's United of Islam, Muhammad's Temple United of Islam. Sunday lectures. We welcome you. We thank you for taking this time out of your busy schedule, whether it was busy or not, to view us, to listen to us. And these lectures are brought to you every Sunday at this time. So we thank you. And whenever we come together in the tradition of the Nation of Islam, we always open up in prayer, asking Allah to make us successful, to bless us, because we cannot do nothing without the majesty of Allah, God. So brothers and sisters, join us in an opening prayer, the prayer that is said by all the Muslims all over the world. It is called the Al-Fatiha, or the opening. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. All praises is due to Allah, the Lord of the worlds, the Beneficent, the Merciful, Master of this day of judgment in which we now live. Thee alone do we serve, and Thee alone do we beseech for aid. Guide us on the right path, on the path of those whom Thou hast bestowed favors, but not along the path of those whom Thy wrath is brought down, nor along those who go astray after they have heard Thy teachings. Ameen. Once again, in the name of Allah, who came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, we thank him for raising up in our midst a leader, teacher, and guide, the messenger of Allah, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. Once again, brothers and sisters, thank you for joining us this afternoon. And our subject, this is part 2 to the original subject that I taught, called the value or the need and the value of the black family. Those of us that know that the black family in America particularly has been devastated on many levels. And the family is the most important unit in this society, because the family represents the community. Community represents the nation, and the nation represents the world. But it all starts with the family. But before I do that, brothers and sisters, I never want you to get away with talking about and acknowledging the need for us to be healthy. If you don't listen to anything that I have to say today, if you don't accept anything that I have to say or what you're going to listen to or hear, I want you to accept the fact that we need to live more healthy. We need to live longer. We need to clean our bodies up from the waste and the things that we put into our bodies. If you don't listen to anything that I have to say today, if you don't accept it, but I want you to accept, you need healthier. You need to eat better so we can live. So I don't get away with what we have to say. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad was in his time, when he was among us, he was known to be a very, very profound teacher. And he taught discipline. He taught us responsibility. But one of the things that he taught us was how to eat to live. And whatever you see in a Muslim, whatever you see in a brother and sister that was a member of the Nation of Islam, you were able to tell. You were able to recognize them because of the way we looked. And the way we looked was just unique. It was different. You can tell that something had come into our life. We had a serene look. The skin on our faces were bright and light. And our eyes were bright. That's because of what we ate. And the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad gave us that ability to eat right and made us look different and live longer. So, like Muhammad said, we should eat in the way that is proper. It's a book, and you can see here in the background this that is called How to Eat. And it's a portion. But you need to get this book by any means necessary because it will help save your life. How to Eat to Live, book number 2. It's called Abundance of Life. Jesus said, he's been quoted to have said, I come to give you life. I come to give you life in abundance. It doesn't mean just spiritual life, but it means longevity. So you can be healthy. And we said last week, we talked about some of the natural things that are in life. Some of the animals live longer than human beings. We live 70 years old, 80 years old. That is nothing. That is just a moment in time compared to the universe that we are in. But they have trees. They have animals on the earth that live 200 years, 300 years. They found a tree in the forest in California called the Yellowstone Forest. They said the tree was over 1,500 years old. And in the tree is the same elements that are in your body. A tree needs water, it needs life, it needs nourishment, the same thing that you need. You're a planet. You're a living entity on this earth, and you need the same thing that a tree needs. Here we go. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad says, now, He, Allah, has come and He is teaching me to teach you how to live. How to live is to go after that which is essential, which is important for us to put our bodies and eat the right foods which gives us life and maintains the life in our bodies. That is very simple, brothers and sisters. We are dying. Some of our people, 40 years old, 50 years old. We have just lost one of our brothers recently, a brother who I was close to, Brother Assad. We knew him, Brother Richard 3X, 60 years old. Brother was having some health problems, and he may not have been eating in the way that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us. Sometimes we deviate, and when we deviate, we pay for it. I knew brothers that had diabetes, and as soon as they felt a little better, they went and got some greasy food, some French fries, some Chinese food, or a hero sandwich. You can't do that. You have to be disciplined. See, this world doesn't teach you discipline. You ever notice when you're walking down, you may have had a meal already, and then you see a sign, Burger King, Whopper, double cheeseburger, and the message goes right into your brain, and you got to say, man, I'm going to get me a cheeseburger. And you have just eaten. Or you have just finished a nice, wholesome meal, and you're walking down the street, and you're walking past a restaurant, and the aroma, the smell of the restaurant reaches your nostrils, and it sends a message to your brain. And your brain says, man, I want to go eat me something. So you get you a piece of cake. You go to Dunkin' Donuts and get you a donut. Get you some Haagen-Dazs ice cream. And here you want to eat again. But you have just eaten. You are satisfied. So the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, he, Master Farad Muhammad, to whom praises is due forever, has taught me how to teach you the best way to extend our lives, and that is through the right kinds of foods and drinks at the right time. So, brothers and sisters, we encourage you to eat better. You eat better, you live longer. You live healthier. Okay? And you know what you're doing. You know what you should eat and what you shouldn't eat. Now, I want you to listen to me, brothers and sisters, because this is a very, very important subject, because it deals with the black family. Last week, I ended by saying that a few weeks ago, we had what was called Mother's Day. You notice when all the people begin to celebrate Mother's Day, they concentrated all their efforts on the mother. They brought our mothers and daughters and sisters, all the females. They brought flowers and candy, took them out to restaurants, to Red Lobster, took them to very elaborate settings, and this showered them with all kinds of stuff. They did that for the mother, and that is rightly so. But it's a commercial holiday. Mother's Day is every day. You should celebrate the existence and the majesty of your mother every day. Not wait until May 7th or May 15th to celebrate your mother, but the mother's got that. But when the Father's Day comes around, you notice there's no big fanfare. There's no big celebration. Some people don't even care if they gave anything to their father or even recognized him. There's no big celebration for the fathers. Why? Some of you said, I ain't giving that nigga nothing. He hasn't done nothing for me. But I'm going to tell you, in the black community, the father is not given the recognition because he has not been a man. And he's not been a man, he's not been a father because he's never been taught and trained how to be a man. He was never taught and trained how to be a father. He doesn't even understand what father means, where the word came from. It means to take you further or farther than you were before. See, in the white community, the father is the provider. He's a protector in the family. But you have never been taught how to be a father. When the white man brought us here over 468 years ago, they broke the black family. They made the father feel inferior, that he wasn't a man. And here we are. This is why the Honorable Elijah Muhammad wrote a book called Message to the Black Man in America. He knew that there were black women in America that had faced the same experience in slavery as the black man, but the black man was never allowed to be a father. So he dedicated and geared the book to the black man, because he knew without the black man standing up in his own community, protecting his community, representing his community, that the community and the family, the black family, will never be stabilized and never represent what it should be in our life. So that's why they don't recognize. And some of you brothers, you got children all over the place. You got young children, girls and boys, walking around the community. They don't even know who you are. You drop a baby there, drop a baby here, and you don't take care of those children. You don't show them quality time. I told you when I first went to a family court, first thing they asked me, does your father take you to a baseball game, a basketball game? Does he take you out? Of course, I didn't know what that had to do with me being in counseling, but they know that a father represents a very important entity in the life of a young boy. Some of you haven't talked to your father in years. You've seen him. Look at some of the athletes. Some of them, after they win a game, I like to thank God. I like to thank my mother. You notice they don't say anything about the father. Some of them know where their fathers are. So it was the purpose and the aim of the slave master to destroy the black family and keep the black family in a perpetual state of slavery so he can control them and do what they wanted to do. That was the purpose, and it reduced the father. I grew up with a father in my house, but he wasn't there when it came to being a father in terms of developing me, because no one had developed him. My father came from South Carolina. He was in a tobacco field. That's all he knew as a young boy. Then he went into World War II, and they castigated the black soldiers and gave more respect and honor to the Germans and the Italians who were Nazis. And they made the black servicemen sleep in cold barracks, talk to them like they were children. So my father never knew how to be a man. So when he came out of the army, when me and my brother and sister, there was 3 of us at the time. My father would get drunk, and all his pain and all of his anguish would come out. And he would beat my mother. I used to see blood dripping down my mother's mouth. He had knocked her teeth out. And me and my brothers and sisters would be crying, "Daddy, don't hit her anymore." But I didn't understand, and I hated my father for that period, during that period. And me and my brother got of age, and he went one day to hit my mother, and we stepped to him. That's it, Daddy. No more. The black family was in peril. And he tried to rile back. "What y'all gonna do?" We said, "What do you think we gonna do?" He backed up because he knew we weren't playing. And I think that was around the last time My father put his hands on my mother, but then later on, I found out what happened to him. In the army, in his life, the white man beat him down and took his manhood from him. And he would get drunk and come to us and say, he said, I'm a man. He only did it when he was intoxicated. But he wanted to be what he was never taught to be, in the white man. And I'm not saying that that's right for men to put your hands on your woman. Never put your hands on anybody. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us only fight in self-defense. Never be the aggressor. And the Holy Quran teaches that the Muslim should never be the aggressor. This is why we should never, ever, I don't care how devastated you are, brothers, don't put your hands on your wife. I talked about the black family. I'm talking about the black family. What is a man? What is a woman? What is a husband? What is a wife? What is our roles and responsibility? Because sometimes we take these reality shows, Hollywood housewives, celebrity housewives, and the white man, these producers and directors got our sisters on these reality shows, and it can't be a reality. How could it be a reality in front of you? And they're telling them what to say. They're telling them what to do. They even tell them how to dress. They're almost their private parts and show their underwear. Their breasts are halfway out. And they got eyes highway road. And they're making this, and they tell them, I'm telling you what they do. You think that's something that they be more ratchet. Say, get her all in her face. Call her a bitch and a hoe. They tell them to say that. And with the script. That should never be your guide. Sisters, that's not real. And our young girls are watching that and they think that's what they have to be. And they just his heads are shaking. Girl. No. But you see, when you see television shows that talked about families, you very seldom see a show. I'm talking about a real serious show with the black family. You see a show with a black family, but it's always a comedy. They're laughing at us. Sing a song for me, Moses. Sing a song for me. Dance for me. Shuffle for me. Make me laugh. Life is serious. You don't be laughing at us. So what is the... There's in a magazine called Life magazine, Gordon Parks in 1963 was allowed by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad to go into the mosque and take pictures and did a photo journal. And he showed Malcolm at a podium. And on the podium, he was teaching an FOI class to the brothers. And he was breaking down what a family was. He got that from the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, taught him that. And on the board it said, what is a man? A man is a husband. And it's in the Bible, talk about the husbandman in the vineyards. See, a vineyard is a place things that are growing and developing. A man is a husband and a father. A father is one that takes and housed. If you're not doing that, you're not a man. You're not a father. If you look at all the things that are happening in the black community, all the stores are owned by someone outside of our community. So you're not taking care of the family, someone else is. A man is a protector. You protect your family. Anyone that comes in here to try to harm us, it is the responsibility of the father to protect the family. When I go down to the family courts, I see women with their sons at family court. You very seldom see the man there because the man is not in the house. He's a provider. He makes sure that all the needs of the family is taken care of. Even if he has to work 1, 2, and 3 jobs, he is responsible to make sure the provisions of the family is taken care of. Man is the authority in the home, not the absolute authority, because a woman also has a certain amount of authority, but he is the authority in the home because when he comes home, he has to make sure after he has worked all day, if he's working, to make sure that the house is right. And when he walks in the house, he observes. And the children are waiting. They can't wait for daddy to come home because they know when daddy comes home, daddy's going to make all things right and exact. And they're eager. They're waiting at the door. Okay? If the house ain't right, the children they said, oh, we don't care if daddy never comes home. And the mother is eagerly waiting for her husband, her man, to come home. Man don't want to come home to a raggedy, stinking, nasty house. He's the head of the house. He makes sure everything is right. But the woman also has an authority in the house to make sure that the children are fed well, are nursed, are taught. And the man should not interfere with that. That's her responsibility. That's her authority to do that. That's what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us. Now, what is a woman? A woman is the first nurse. She makes sure that the children are well, that they eat right. Make sure that if there's any thing that has happened to the children that is interfering with their health, the mother makes sure. She nurtures them. She's the first nurse. I don't remember ever not going to school. I mean, I went to school every day. My mother taught me how to read. I knew how to read before I even went to school. I was 4 years old. I was reading New York newspapers, word for word. My mother taught me that. She's the first teacher. She taught me my ABCs. She taught me my times table. And sometimes, every time, I wouldn't do that to my children. But my mother, if she said, what is 5 times 7, and it's supposed to be 35, and I put 30, she'd give me a nugget, bam, right on my head. I'd be crying. I wouldn't do that. It's a little abusive. But that's the way she was taught. Some of y'all remember that. But I knew my ABCs. I knew my times tables. I knew how to read. This is true. She's the first nurse, the first educator. A woman is a nurturer. She just makes you, this makes you feel so comfortable and safe that everything is going to be all right. It's in her nature. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said it's the nature of the woman or the black woman to do that nurturing aspect. And that permeates throughout the black community. The woman is a helpmate or a help meet, as the Quran, the Holy Quran that we read, which is the book of the Muslims, teaches us. She helps you meet your obligations. But it was the purpose and the aim of our slave masters to tear the black family apart and devastate it so he can remain to have power and control over us. The need and the value of the black family. I want you to listen to me. I hope everyone is all right so far. If you got some friends or if you have some neighbors, tell them to tune in right now. Send them the link and say the brothers from the Muhammad's Temple United of Islam is on the air. And they got a very special message concerning the black family. You know, you've heard the term, to show you what the white man did to us, and he understands it. There's a term in Africa, throughout the African diaspora, throughout the African continent, or the continent of Africa. It takes a village to raise a family. It takes a village to protect a family. And the village is the family. Okay? The village is the family. They're the father, they're the mother, they're the uncle, they're the aunt, they're extended members of the family, the whole village. And to show you how that transcended through time, even though the white man took our language, took our God, took our religion, took our culture from us when they brought us from Africa to America, there's something that we kept. And that was the extended family. That village concept. And when I was growing up, some of y'all remember this, if you're old enough, the whole community took care of the family. I remember Miss Justine. If she caught me doing something, she said, Ronnie, get your behind over here. Sit down. And she took me to my mother. She caught me doing something. And there was Mr. Clarence. And there was Mr. Heavy Jones. Caught me smoking one time. I was about 8 years old, smoking a cigarette. He slapped that cigarette out of my face. The cigarette went flying one way and I went flying another way. They took care. It came out of their love in the village. I had many friends who were raised by their aunts or Miss Virginia up the block because the mother couldn't take care of all the children. So they gave and their children to other people they thought or felt that would be more responsible. That's a village concept of the family. We always understood that. I had people, but my mother would invite them in our home, and they would be sleeping on the floor. My mother would put blankets down and pillows, and these are her friends that she knew. That was the village concept. It is the family, the black family, the need, the value of the black family. This is why in our lessons that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, who we believe that was taught by God in person, in the lessons that was given to him, it said the uncle of W.D. Farad lives other than himself. Well, why did he say uncle? Because when something happens to the father, the uncle takes precedent. The uncle steps in the absence of the father. He said that we were the uncle of Master Farad Muhammad. His brother, who was a jet black man, was our brother, okay? And we were his uncle. So it's metaphorically, it's like a symbolic meaning with great depth in science in the black family, the uncle of W.D. Farad. When the father wasn't home, he said, wait till my uncle come. My father ain't, but my uncle was gonna kick your butt. The uncle played a great role. And they said the wife, okay, the wife of W.D. Farad, who would be his aunt, W.D. Farad's aunt, she lives other than herself. And the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that he was raised up by God to put us back into the knowledge of ourselves. That is a family concept. The uncle and wife of W.D. Farad. I can recall when my mother was very, very sick. I didn't really know what was wrong with her. They took her to the hospital, and I remember the authority came, the children's services came, and they were talking about taking us to a children's center. And my aunt Sarah stepped in. She said, I'll take care of them. That's the family. My aunt Sarah, she would work all day. She did domestic work, scrub floors for white people. When she finished, she would come home, cook us food, dress us, put us to bed, and make sure we got up the next morning to go to school. I don't know how long that lasted, maybe 6 months. My mother eventually came home, of course. My father was away. I don't know where he was at. I think he was living in Harlem with his brother. But my aunt and Uncle D, stepped in. That's the black family. Every year, when we went to Savior's Day, which was February 26th, which represented the birth of Master Farad Muhammad, 1877, that's when they say he was born. And we would go to Savior's Day, and every Savior's Day, I went to maybe about 8 or 9 of them, from the time that I was 16 until I was in my early 20s. There was great banners spread across the Coliseum in Chicago. And it was never a Savior's Day when this wasn't up there. It says, protect, respect, and elevate your black woman. Respect, protect, and elevate your black woman. You cannot have a black family, an adequate black family, if you don't do those 3 things. You have to protect her. The most disrespected, unprotected person in America is the black woman. She's displayed on television as a slut, a whore, something that could be used and abused. Our young girls are out of control. You see them. But you have to protect. You can go into any society in this world. And if it's a civilized society, the woman is always protected and respected. Okay? God recognizes this, taught to Honorable Elijah Muhammad to make sure the members of the Nation of Islam protect their black women. Don't let anybody come to the community. We can see a black woman. That's why we can see a black woman, we can see a black woman being beat, kicked, disrespected. Black men will walk right by and won't say nothing. One of the main reasons why the Honorable Elijah Muhammad didn't allow us to join the civil rights movement in those marches, because they were shooting out women and children with water hoses, beating them with sticks and shooting them and kicking them. Our black women ripping their clothes off them. And Malcolm wanted the Honorable Elijah Muhammad to allow the members of the nation to join those marches. Messengers said, no, Malcolm. He said, you just be patient. He said, one day we will be in charge of those kind of activity. We will control it. He said, we will not have our women disrespected and unprotected. Yes. And not only do you respect and protect, you have to elevate your black woman. She cannot just be in the home, which is a very important position, but if she wants to be a nurse, a doctor, an engineer, you have to encourage that. Encourage your young daughters, become scientists, become architects, lawyers, and women of renown, respect in the world. You have to elevate them to positions of greatness in respect and honor. So when other people come into society, they respect them. And the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, if you would see the brothers, when we would have our big meetings, the first thing we do is make sure our sisters are safe. And we walk them in. We escort them to their homes. We make sure that they are provided for. This is what we were told. In the Nation of Islam, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad gave us an orientation manual because we need instructions. You know, you need instructions. You just not born a man. There's certain natural things that are in you. There are certain natural things that are in the black woman, but you have to be also trained to enhance those things, to illuminate those things that are natural to you. So in the orientation class, one of the things that we were taught is to how to be a man, what things to do. We are the fruit of Islam, the FOI, the name given to the military training of men who belong to Islam in North America. Let me just read a portion of what we were given when we come into the Nation of Islam in orientation. I came in as a 16-year-old. It says the FOI, the introduction to the FOI definition and goals. See, you had an idea that the FOI is a bunch of security. Well, we do security, but like we some knockdown, drag out, some doom squad. No, that's not true. We're religious men, spiritual men, with an aim and a purpose and a manifest destiny. The FOI means the fruit of Islam. It is the name given to the class of men who belong to the Nation of Islam and follow the spiritual guidance of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. You will be trained in this class to face and fulfill your obligation as a man and shoulder your responsibility by representing the good which the religion can produce in you. It is to train you to bring out those things that are natural to you so you can be a better product for the black family and the black community. Messenger Elijah Muhammad, who has been chosen by God to lead us today, teaches the FOI that we must be responsible hard workers. Responsible and hard workers. You can't shut or put aside your responsibility, and you gotta work hard. Nothing comes to you unless you put work in. Constant work, hard work, prayer will give you success. The FOI must be responsible and hard workers, protecting the women and the children of our nation. We must be qualified to hold any position that is necessary, whether it be in the field of labor or management, religion or politics. That is just a portion. There's more of that, of what an FOI, the responsibility of the fruit of Islam. It is to be a man and a father and a protector and the person that's involved in their family. Don't let your woman do everything. I look at some of these organizations. Women are the head. Women are the ones that's in the meetings. Women are in the certain positions. And the white man does that purposely. He'll accept them. You stand at the train station one day, early in the morning, and you look at people getting on the train and watch how many black women go to businesses, their jobs. You know, lift the woman and downgrade the man. The Honorable Abdul Muhammad is a prophet like Moses. And in the time of the children of Israel, Pharaoh said, save the female baby and kill the male. Why kill the male? Because the male represents the sperm that produces a nation. You kill him, you kill the family. But save the female, because if we can control her, we can control the family. Because she teaches the family. She's the nurse, the trainer, the teacher, okay? So that is synonymous with us. Why do you think there's so many black men in prison? Everybody in prison didn't commit the crime, even though they'll tell you that in a minute. Well, I was innocent. Brother, what we saw you when you did that stick up. No, that wasn't me, you know. Yes, it was. But many of those brothers, I was a parole officer, New York State, for 25 years. And I can count many of those men that were in jail because they took a cop out. They weren't even guilty, but they scared them into taking a plea. And now the prisons of the United States of America are stacked, packed, crammed, and jammed with black men. And many black women are also in there. In the state of Georgia, they got the biggest prison population in the state. There's so many black men in there. You think white men don't commit crimes? They're the biggest criminals. But they don't treat them like that. You kill the male, you control the female, you destroy the black family. The Honorable Abdul Muhammad said, in order to have a well-rounded black family, the family had to have the knowledge of self. First, he said, my people must be taught the knowledge of self, who they are, what are their origins in the world, what their goal and responsibility is in life. They must be taught the knowledge of self, and then only then will they be able to understand others and that which surrounds them. If you don't know who you are, you can't understand what's happening in and around you. You avoided everything. Everything is happening in your community. You have no control over. Someone else is controlling it. Someone else is telling you when to get up. Someone else is telling you what responsibilities, what goals, what objectives you need, what services you should have and shouldn't have, how your children should be taught, what they should be taught. They said in the state of Florida, they're banning all kinds of books, a lot of books that pertain to the black community, the black history of our people. The black family must be saved and maintained in order for us to walk into the hereafter. The white man tells you, or tells our woman, you don't need a man, and you repeat those things. I don't need no man. I can do bad by myself. Where did that come from? Who told you that? Who put that in your brain? And now just filtering down to our young girls. Never say that, because we need each other. There is no perpetuation of life if there's not a continuity in a connection between man and women, what makes up the black family. You can't live without the other one. Sister. And now brothers are saying that. I don't need a woman. I can do better on my own. I don't need that. Tell me nothing. Imagine if we kept that up. We will literally out of existence. That doesn't in any facet of life. Even in the animal, even in the insect kingdom, that doesn't happen. They all know. In the bee experience, the bees that you see, they have the queen. Their life is to make sure the queen is protected and that honey is drawn from those flowers and they build a honeycomb. And we eat honey and it's a healing substance. The need and the value of the black family. What is so valuable? What does the word value mean? It means something important, something worthwhile, something youthful, beneficial. It has potential for a greater good. That's how you have to see the black family. And if you don't respect and understand those things, there's no reason for us to be even around, because the family would not exist. The need. Why do we need the black family? What does the word need mean? Need is a requirement. It's essential. It's necessary. It has great importance. And I want you all to study that, brothers and sisters. See, you come into existence and you already have a mother and father, but you don't even know the need and the value of having those two entities. Things. They teach you mathematics, science in school. They teach you trigonometry. They teach you all kinds of disciplines, but they don't teach you the value of family. They don't teach you the importance and the need for family. In the time of Prophet Muhammad, Ibn Abdullah, who lived more than 1,400 years ago, when he received the revelation, one of the most important things that he did was to liberate the woman. The woman in Arabia was disrespected. The woman in Arabia was castigated. You know, the Arabs, they were drinkers of wine. They would sit around and quote poetry. They would bury their female babies in the sand of the desert because they thought and believed that women had no worth, but they worshiped and reverenced the male. You see that? But when Prophet Muhammad received the revelation, one of the things that he did, it is found in the Holy Quran under a chapter called Al-Nisa, the woman. He liberated the woman. He made sure they had better treatment. They were able to get an inheritance. If their husband or uncle or father died, it went to them. Before that, they got nothing. They were able to get out of a marriage where they wasn't forced to stay in a position or a marriage that they hated and didn't like. The woman was liberated. It is part of the family. I hope you understand some of the things I was saying. This subject, I mean, we can go for hours and hours and days and teach and talk about this here because it's so important. Because if you look in society, they don't even emphasize the importance of family. They talk about individualism. I got mine, you have to get yours, son. Ain't nobody helped me. Oh, yes, somebody did. Somebody helped you come into this world. How do you think you got here? And how, when you were a baby, someone cleaned your nasty pamper, raised you, developed you. As I reach my conclusion, we must have a balance in the black family, a balance. In each man and woman, each brother and sister, and this has to be transcended to the children, the male and the female child, the need for balance and our roles and responsibilities. And we must be patient with each other in the family. I know some of us don't even talk to our brothers and sisters. Some don't talk to your mother and father, your cousins. We're angry, but we're not patient. Patience, it's a cliche, but it's a very real thing when someone says patience is a virtue. What do you mean a virtue? Because it's something that is needed. It's a virtualized thing that is needed for us so things can happen in a way that will give us sustenance and maintenance. Patience, be patient with each other. Don't be so quick. And if you have done something wrong, ask for forgiveness. Show your patience, show your humility. God came for us. Every nation as a Holy Quran, in every nation the Holy Quran says, God has sent a prophet or a messenger to every nation. Elijah Muhammad was sent to us. And it's since others, prophets and messengers, we name, some of them we haven't named. But the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was sent to us. He was patient with us for 40 years. And we were hard-headed, stiff-necked, crazy, out of control. We came from all kind of deviant lifestyles. But he was patient. He never, in all the years, and I've been in the Nation of Islam close to 60 years, getting close to that, over 50 years. And I've never heard him castigate us, down us. And he knew we came from very negative and adverse lifestyles. But I've never heard him beat us down. He would say, rise up, black man. Rise up, black woman. Do something for yourself. God has come for you to give you a new life and a new disposition. Rise up, black nation. You can accomplish what you will. This is why our young brothers and sisters, that's why the family has to be right. In the book of Exodus, in the 20th chapter, in the 12th verse, it says, it comes out of the 10 commandments, or the 5th commandment. It says, honor thy mother and father, that your days may be long in the land that is the Lord God is giving. Even if your mother or daddy is wrong, you honor them. But brothers and sisters, your mother and father cannot be honored unless they're doing the right thing. Honor them, that your days will be long, because you one day will become a mother and a father and have a family, and you're going to want to be respected and honored. So young brothers and sisters, honor them. And father and mother, show some kind of example. Because children don't listen to what you say, they watch what you do. And this is why I can walk through my black community. And I had and the last thing that my oldest daughter, who passed away, she grew up in the nation. Her name was Karima. the last thing she came to me before she died, she said, Daddy, she said, don't give up on me. I said, I will never give up on you. Don't give up on yourself. She said, Daddy, you have done nothing that I'm ashamed of. She said, even though I'm out here, she said, I can walk down the street knowing that I will never be ashamed. She said, I have friends and acquaintances that are ashamed of their parents. They don't even want to be around them. She said, but I never had that. And the tear rolled down my eyes because I had to give all praises is due to Allah for the Honorable Elijah Muhammad raising me up and teaching me. And this is not to say in my younger years I didn't do some things. I did some things. I ain't going to tell you about those things that I did. I'm not proud of those things. We have to reclaim our children. We have to reclaim them because they are our future that will bring us into the hereafter. Because the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said there is no hereafter up in the sky anywhere. We will live in the hereafter through our children. They are the hereafter. That's why if you look at your son, if you look at your daughter, they look exactly like you. They are the reproduction of each and every one of us. And they are the ones that will take us into the hereafter. God came for us. As I near my conclusion on this subject, which could be a subject that can go on and on. But in the book of Ezekiel, because sometimes black people, we talk about God. We have these great enthusiastic feelings. God, I love Jesus. But deep down inside, we are so empty sometimes because I don't think we really believe that God has come for us. So in the book of Ezekiel, and we thank the Honorable Elijah Muhammad for letting us know that God came for the black man and woman to restore the black family. In the book of Ezekiel, in the 34th chapter, in the 11th verse, it says, behold, this is God talking now. This is not a prophet. This is not a messenger. This is not a priest or a rabbi. He says, behold, which means hold it. He said, I myself. He put an emphasis. Some people say, well, that sounds like a double negative. Why did he say I, or why did he say myself? He said, I myself will search for the lost sheep, and I will seek them out. And this is why the Honorable Elijah Muhammad told us that Master Farad Muhammad was here 20 years seeking to save that which was lost, the lost sheep in the house of Israel. That is the black man and woman of America. We have been lost from our own. This is why he called us sheep, because a sheep can easily be led anywhere at any time and will go into slaughter. We have been a sheep-like people. But now God has come himself. If he said he's coming himself, he's not coming as a spook. He's not coming as a spirit. He's not coming as a ghost or something, some aberration, something unseen, untouched. He's coming as a real, live human being to seek and save that which was lost, the black man and woman of America, to restore them, understand the need and the value of the black family. This is true. So brothers, I leave you, sisters, I leave you with those words, and we thank you for listening, and may Allah, the all-wise, the true and living God, bless you with the light of truth and understanding, that you may walk aright in this time of judgment in the fall of America. Thank you for listening. Assalamu alaikum. Brothers and sisters, I hope you have learned something what we have to say. I hope I haven't been harsh or showed any negative aspects of this towards you. This is just to help teach you. You know, as I'm talking, I'm learning myself. I wasn't a man. I wasn't always an adult. Someone had to teach me. So we thank you for listening, and we hope that you continue to listen to our Sunday lectures sponsored by Muhammad Temple of Islam United, and you will continue to learn more. So you will be given some instructions on how to learn more about what we're doing, what we're involved in, so you can be a part of that. So I close as I open in a prayer. Just join me. In the name of Allah, who came in the person of Master Fard Muhammad, we thank him for raising up in our midst a leader, teacher, and guide, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, the beneficent, the merciful master of this day of judgment, the merciful one, the oft returning to mercy. O Allah, we ask that you strengthen the black family, the mothers and fathers, the children, the entire black family. Protect us and guide us. If we stumble, if we fall, if we make a mistake, we ask that you give us mercy. Sometimes we know that we're not so much due mercy, but give that. And make us better today than we were yesterday, and make us better tomorrow than we are today. And we ask all of this in your name. And of course, in the name of your servant, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, we thank you. Amen.
If you believe what you are taught today on Islam is true, and you would like to learn more, or you are ready to accept and reclaim your own, contact the Lost Foundation of Islam Muhammad's Temple United at 623-312-4352. Again, that's 623-312-4352. We thank you for joining us today, and we ask that you return next Sunday and invite your family and friends. We ask your support so that we may continue to get the truth out to our people. You may contribute by donating to our Cash App at $MT United, that's $MT United. May the peace and blessings of Allah be with you. Assalamu alaikum.